Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have learnt about the creating a message, and we have created the integration node, integration server, and application. We have created the message, and we have also deployed the message and tested the message. Regarding the message flow, we have done everything and the basic creation of the message flow. Now we are slowly we are going to toward the learning in deep knowledge of the any message flow or any you can see that IBM App Connect Enterprises, we are going to learn about the in detail in the systematic manner. Now, in this lecture, we are going to learn about the logical tree. The first, there should be a question. It should come into a mind. What is logical tree? Before going to the what are the parts of the logical tree, there should be one question that you should come into a mind. What is logical tree? For this question, there should be a for before that you should know about what is parser. So parser is a program that take input message and create the internal representation of message in form of tree structure, and this tree is called logical tree. Let me explain you. Once let's take example. We have a MQ input node and we have a MQ output node. Okay, and let me just show you. Let's take this message flow that we created in the last class, and if I am sending some input message to the MQ input node, then what will happen? This input message will be converted into a tree structure like that. Message will be there, local environment will be there, environment will be there, expression will be there. The parser is a program. It is a program that takes the input message. Whatever the input message we are sending, it takes the message and it creates the internal representation of the message in form of tree. Okay. So, so whatever the message you are sending, it just take the message and creates the internal representation of message and in the form of tree structure, and this tree is called the logical tree. So in while in debugging mode, you will be see like that where there will be the message, and where will be under there will be local environment tree, there will be environment tree, and there will be exception tree. Now we will see this in debug mode, so you don't need to worry about that. We will see everything in debug mode. Now coming to the this, if you're talking about the logical tree, total we have divided logical tree into the four parts: message tree, local environment tree, and exception tree. So these are the these are the four part of the logical tree. Any message, any type of message, if you are sending to the MQ input node, it creates it creates a tree known as a logical tree, and further logical tree has a four part, that is the message tree, local environment tree, and the exception tree. Now we are going to cover each one in detail. First we are going to cover message tree. After that we are going to local environment tree. After that we are going to environment tree, and then exception tree. The first we are going to deal with the basic definitions. After that we are going to in the toolkit we are going to everything in the detailed manner. So you don't need to worry about it. Now coming to the message tree. If you are talking the message tree have three parts, that is the property, header, and the payload. Okay, as you seen in the last lecture, if you see, I will show you this thing in debugger mode also. Okay, the message tree in message we have properties, mqnd, and the xml. Xml is showing here because the message, if you have chosen the message format as a xml, then it will be the xml. If you have chosen as a blob, it will be blob. If you have chosen dfdl, it will be dfdl. If you have chosen soap, then it will be soap. That it's came as per the message format. Whatever the message format will came here. Okay, so this is the property part where we where the message properties, everything is stored here. What are the message properties, what are the persistent or not, everything will be present here. MQMD, that is the header part of the message, will be stored here, and it is the XMLNC, the main message, or you can say that payload of the message is called the XMLNSC. Okay, that for the message we have the three parts, that is the property, header, and the payload. Okay, and these all three are in the systematic manner. First will be the properties, second will be the payload MQMD, and the third will be the in XML. The always the serial number will be like that. First will be properties, second MQMD, and the third will be the XML. The benefit will be what will be benefit, I will just discuss in the few after few minutes. The first will be property, second will be the MQMD, and third will be the XML. Okay, now coming to the here. So first it is called a root. The original that is the, if you say that this message is called the root. Under root we have the properties, header, and XML. So we have the root, under that it is a property, under that it is the MQMD, and it is called the XML. So similarly, consider like that this is the root, and under root we have the properties, header, and the payload. Payload can be any domain, any XML or actual message, like that. Payload, consider like this is a first, this is a second, and this is the third in the serial manner. So this is root is called the parent. Root is called the parent, and properties, header, and the payload is called the child of the root. What is this meant, child of the root, or what is the parent? These all things will be used while we design the, that all thing we are going to use, that is the what is that is child word, and the next the sibling things, and the previous sibling, these all things we are going to use while we are writing the ESQL code. So uh, just concentrate on the things. So root is the parent, and the properties, header, and the properties, header, and the payload are the child of the root. Properties is called the first child of the root, and the payload is called the last child of the root. Okay, the concentrate on the word first child, last child. This first child and last child word we are going to use in the ESQL code while we are writing the code. Okay, now coming to the properties. And properties, header, and the payload, these all are called as sibling. What I have told here, root is the parent, properties, header, and payload is the child of the root, and property is the first child, and the payload is the last child of the root, and properties, header, and the payload are siblings. Properties is previous sibling of header, and the header is the previous sibling of payload, and similarly you consider it, these are the things, previous sibling. After that you can say it's use also next sibling, like that the header is the next sibling of the properties, and the payload is the next sibling of the header. Now, these are the thing basically we are going to use, the like the next sibling, previous sibling, um, first child, last child, these all things we are going to use while writing the ESQL code. Okay, so this is the important concept. Now coming to the some more concept on the message tree. After that I am going to use the uh, toolkit for writing the codes and these all things. Okay, now if we talk about the message tree is the place where we have the properties of the message, and the header things, and the payload things. Okay, this is the actual area where we have to work. Okay, so if anything you want to access from the, if you want to, while writing the ESQL code, and if you want to access something from the properties or the header or the payload, if you want to something access, to have the what commands basically we are used, what code we are used to, we have the, you have to write the input route. If you want to access something from the properties, header, and the payload, then you have to use the input route. Now, what if I want to set something inside the properties header and payload? If you want to set something, or if you want to send something inside the properties header and the payload, we have to use the output route. In the message tree, we have the two important, you consider the syntax like that: input route and the output route. Input route is used in case if you want to access something from the properties header and payload, and if you want to set something inside the properties header and the payload, then we have to use the output route. Now coming to the local environment tree. Okay, local environment tree is after the message. If you see here, uh, after the message we have the local environment tree. After that we have environment tree, and we have the exception list tree. This thing I am going to cover in systematic message thing I have covered already. I am going to cover the local environment tree, then environment tree, then exception list tree. Now coming to the local environment tree. Local environment tree is a place where we can store some information in the form of tree, which is available only to immediate next node in the message flow. If you want to get something, if you want to get something in the immediate next node, then we use the local environment tree. The local environment tree mainly we used when we want the information to the immediate next node. Okay, it will be information. If you store something in the local environment tree, then it will be not available throughout the message flow. It's just available immediate next node. Okay, again, if you want to access something inside from the local environment tree, you have to use the input local environment, and if you want to set or send something inside the local environment tree, you have to use the output local environment. So again, we have the two syntax like that: the input local environment tree and the output local environment. Input local environment, if you want to access something from the local environment tree, then you have to use the input local environment, and if you want to send or set something inside the local environment tree, then you have to the output local environment. Now coming to the environment tree. Environment tree, environment tree is a tree where we can store information which is available throughout the message flow. So if you stored something inside the environment tree, you can access from the anywhere in the message flow. If I am setting some variable value or some setting some data inside the environment tree, then we can access those variable or value from environment tree in any of the point in the message flow. If you store something inside the environment tree, it is available throughout the message flow, and you can access it in any of the node used in the message flow. Okay, again, if you want to send something, if you want to send something inside the local environment tree, and if you want to some access from the environment tree, so there is no here the input output concept. Just you have to write the environment. If you want to send, if you want to send something, you have to also use the environment, and if you want to access something, you have to use the environment. That's all. Now coming to the last and the final one, and that is exception list tree, and it is the last tree of the logical tree. Exception list tree is a tree which populates in case of some exception. Let's take example, we have a message flow, and due to some code or due to some message format, and due to some properties in the MQ input node, we exception something exception happened. Then in that case, what will happen? In that case, some exception list tree will be generated. In case of something exception or unhandled thing happen, in that case, exception list tree will be generated. And what will happen? It will be automatically generated. So we don't have any control in this tree. The list tree will populate in case of some exception, and we have no control over this tree. So we cannot modify this tree. We don't have accessibility to modify this tree. But we can send the information to this tree. We cannot modify the tree, but we can send some information and we can also access some information from this tree. Again, if you want to send some information to the this informant list tree, then you have to use the output exception list. And if you want to access something from the uh, this tree, then you have to use the input exception list tree. So again, if I brief this, this tree will be populated in case of some exception. And if you want to access something, then you have to use the input exception list. If you want to send something, you have to use the output exception list. Again, before going to the debugging mode and writing the code, let me just again brief all this thing in the uh, systematic manner. Okay, logical tree will be created once someone sends some message, and parser will just generate a tree. Parser will generate a tree and a structure. This is called a logical tree. Inside logical tree, we have message tree, local invert tree, environment tree, exception list tree. Message tree is a tree which is available where we have the something properties header and the payload. And if you want to some access from the message tree, you have to use the input route. And if you want to send something, then you have to use the output route. Similarly, local environment tree is the tree which is if you store something, it will be available immediate next node. And to access something from the local environment, you have to the input local environment. And if you want to send something inside the local environment, you have to use the output local environment. Similarly, environment tree is a tree where we can store something information which is available throughout the message flow, and we can access from any point in the message flow. Again, if you want to send something or access something, you have to use the simple syntax is the environment you have to use to do this. Now coming to the exception list. Exception list is a tree which populates in case of some exception happen. And if you want to access something from the exception list, you have to use the input exception list. And if you want to send something, you have to use the output exception list. Now let's come to the toolkit and do some debugging things. And let's see what are the scenario we are going to deal with. Okay. For that, I am going to design some flow, because this flow is not enough to test that in all things. So I'm going to design some flow, and in this flow I'm going to modify the flow, and after that I'm going to test everything. Okay. Now for that, I am taking a scenario. Let's me explain the scenario. What will happen? I am going to take two example, that is the two message. First message will be the like that message. Under message we have, this is the XML message where parent, if you are talking about the parent is the message. Under that there will be two child, that is a tutor and the platform. And the message, if you XML message is simple message like that, you have to do something like that. And it is the starting tag, it will the closing tag will be this. Similarly, this is the starting tag and the closing tag will be this. Under the start tag and the close tag, we have to write the what are the information, these all things. Okay. The XML message is the simple message where we have to write the start tag and the end tag, and under that what are the information you want to send. Okay. And the similar parent child concept to work here, where this is called the parent, because this is under that there will be two child, that is the tutor and the platform. And the tutor and platform both are the siblings. If you are talking about the first child is the tutor and the last child is the platform. Okay. So I am just creating a message, that is the message. Under the message, tutor name is the Rishu Tiwari and the platform, that is the YouTube. Okay. Similarly, I have taken another message, that is the message. Under that there will be two child, that is the tutor, whose name is the Rishu Tiwari, and the platform is the Udemy. So I'm just creating a situation. I'm just creating a situation where I'm going to write a code here. If someone is sending this message, like the tutor is Rishu Tiwari and the platform is Udemy, then message will be going to the there will be some other flow here, and it will going to there this side. Okay, and if the tutor will be Rishu Tiwari and the platform will be the YouTube, then message will be going to the this MQ output node. The flow will be simple like that. If platform is YouTube and the tutor is Rishu Tiwari, then it will go to the s- straightforward. And if the platform is Udemy and the tutor is Rishu Tiwari, then it will go to the, there will be some subflow, and under through subflow it will going to the this MQ output node too. Okay, so for that let's create the some subflow, because I'm going to create a subflow for the uh, Udemy section, and I'm going to write code here and also here, and after that I'm going to show it debugging mode. Okay, now let's create the subflow. If you want to create a subflow, just click on the flow and just click on the subflow. Under this application, you can see container name is my first app. Under this application there is a subflow name, and the subflow name I have to write here. This is my the first subflow, so I'm writing the first subflow, and that app and this is for the my first app, the my first app app. I'm just written the this is the subflow name I have written like that. Just click on finish. My subflow has been created. In the subflow we have the input node to take the message from the and we have the output node to send the message to the output. If I introduce something here, the subflow, then it will take message from here and it will send message to there. Okay, the input terminal is used to take message and output terminal is used to send the message. This is the use of the input terminal and output terminal. The output terminal simply takes the message from the in node from the you consider it in, and output terminal send message to the from out to the out. Okay, so let's design this flow, subflow. Just drag here. Let me add the compute node, because I am going to do some coding in the compute node. So okay, let me join this compute node, and again this to be joined through the out is already present here. You can see, if you see, out is there. This is the out. This why I need to connect the out one. So let's choose the out one and the this terminal. Okay, now this is done. Now let me if you want to save it, there is some default code if you use the compute node, then so let me remove the default code first. This thing is the now, and this, so I have removed the default code. Now it is done. Now my flow has been created, and let me use the subflow. If you want to use the subflow, what you have to do is just simply click drag and drop the where you want to put it. Just I have the dragged and dropped it. Okay, now let me connect this terminal with the subflow. I want to connect this to the out one, so use the out one. Okay, here I can use the out. Okay, here I can use the out, so let's leave it if I use the out one, no problem. Now let's here I want to send to something to the MQ output, so let's select the MQ output. It will be in the IBM MQ output. Okay, now that's done. Now this is done. Again, here I need to write some queue name. So let me choose the queue name. I have the queue that is the in out dot local in this queue. If you see here, we have the queue name is the out dot local. So it is also a output. So I am choosing the out one dot local like that. Out one dot local. Okay. So we have a flow. We have a flow where we will send message in the MQ input node. It will check the condition. If uh, tutor is Sutivari and platform is YouTube, then message will be go to the MQ output node. And if the tutor is uh, Risutivari and the platform is the Udemy, it will go to the subflow, and through subflow it will go to the MQ output node 1. Okay. Now let's write some code here. Okay. What are the condition? Let's write here. Okay. So we have the message this. Okay. From this message we want to access the tutor and the platform. So let's declare the input route. Declare and reference to input route dot, this is the message XML format message, so use the XML and ACE. And I am till that input route on XML and ACE, this is the whole message, but I want to access something inside that message, so I am going to use the message keyword. Okay. Now it is done. So what I have declared a variable whose name is inref, which is actually pointing to the this message. The using the inref, I can use the tutor and platform, and similarly using the I can access the tutor and platform. Okay. If I use the inref.tutor, this means I am using the Risutivari. If I am using the inref.platform, then this is the YouTube. Simply I have just declared the variable whose name is inref, which is directly pointing to the message. The input route already explained you in the message tree to you. Let me just show you. Okay, input route is used. Uh, Input route is used to access something from the message tree, and output route is used to send something into inside the message tree. I currently I am just wanting to access something from the message. I am just want to access something from the our message, so I have chosen the syntax that is the input route. Currently the message is XML, so I have chosen the XML and C, and I want to access inside the message, so I have chosen the message. Now let's write the syntax for the if else command. If inref dot if inref dot tutor age Rishu Tiwari and inref dot platform for equal to YouTube. Okay. Now if this is a platform, then what I have it has to do. If inref tutor name is Rishu Tiwari and platform is YouTube, then it has to send message to the this out terminal. Then it will propagate toward the out terminal. So I have to write the propagate to terminal null 0. Else if let me copy this all command, is Udemy, then propagate after, if in case of tutor name is Rishi Tiwari and platform is Udemy, what will you do? It will send the message to the out one. Okay, so let's propagate toward the terminal out one. Propagate to null one. Okay, now just to the end f. Okay, now if there should be one point you need to take into mind, if you are not, if you are using something like that, propagate to terminal 0, and after that you are sending something to the this terminal like that, this terminal, and after that if you are using not return false, then it will uh, by default, if you are not writing anything, it will take it return true. So it is always prefer to write the return false if you want to, if you don't want to do anything. If you don't want to send something after, if you just after sending this message to here, if you don't want to write any code and if you don't want to do anything, then you have to do the return false. If anyone wanting if you anyone just want to send some message to this out terminal, or if anyone just want to send some message to the out one, and after that he is not expecting to do anything in that compute node, then he have to just use the keyword that is the return false. Okay, return false is something like that, I don't want to do anything, just terminate the uh, debugger like that. Similarly you have to use here also return false. Return false. False. Now remove this thing because this is not required. Now it is done. So what I have written till now, if first I have declared a variable that is inref and I am accessing information from the message, that is the, this is the message. The inref is directly pointing to the message. Again after that I am using the if and else if loop. If tutor name is inref.tutor is directly this thing. The if inref.tutor is Shri Sutiwari and inref.platform is the YouTube, then it will send to the out one. It will send to the out terminal, that is the 0 terminal, and it will do return false. It will do nothing. Else if the tutor is Rishu Tiwari and the platform is the Udemy, like that this message. If tutor is Rishu Tiwari and platform is Udemy, then it will send the message to the terminal one, that is the out one. The out is called a terminal 0 and out one is also called a terminal 1. And if you are not writing like that out, then you can write also, if you are writing that return true, that it is also means the return true and propagating to the terminal out or propagating to terminal 0. These all things are same. These all thing will lead a message to send to this MQ output node. Okay, but if you want to especially if you want to send some message to the out one, then you have to write the propagate to terminal out one or propagate to terminal one. Now this is the thing done. Now if I want to send input route, I have already explained you. If I want to send access something from the this message, I am going to use the input route. Now what if I want to send something in the output route? Then I have to use the output route. The set output route is equal to, under output route I am like writing the details. Under details I am writing the YouTube. Under that I am writing the YouTube name, that is the learner pass official. Okay. But for this case, I'm just simply want to send a message like that, the set output route is equal to input route. Okay. Okay. Just use the syntax of this thing. Okay. Now it doesn't. So what I am doing, if the tutor is Yusuf Tiwari and the platform is YouTube, then just send in the output route. Just set in the output route, under output route under detail, under YouTube. Just set the YouTube name is a learn and pass official. And after that terminate to the terminal out, forward to terminal out, and do nothing, that is return false. In case the tutor is Yusuf Tiwari and the platform is Udemy, then you have to do nothing. You have to just what is coming inside the input route, what is coming from the message, just send it to the output. Just set into the output route. Or you can write like that simple. You can write, if you don't want to send the properties, and if you don't want to send the header thing, then just write the XML that will be also a beneficial. I'm just sending the maximal part. Okay. So I'm just from inside the, let me just show you here, that will be more if you see this diagram, uh, from XML and SE part inside the consider like that. Message is the input route. Under message we have the properties, header, and the XML NSC. If you using the, consider message as an input route, and these are the if you want to access the property, the input route dot properties use. If you want to do the MQMD, the input route dot MQMD. If you want to access something from the XML NSC, then you have to do the MQ input route dot XML NSC. The same thing I am using here also. If I want to access something from the XML NSC, then I am using the, here if you see the input route dot XML NSC. I am accessing something from the input root XML and what is present inside the input root.xml. I am just sending to the output. Just I have used the command set output root.xml. Now my this is all done, and I'm just going to run the command, and I'm just going to debug this and see what is happening. Now this is done. So I have just if you see here, I just what I have done. If you see here, if you see here, in case I am sending message this uh, tutor this, and platform is YouTube, I'm just sending the inside the details and the YouTube output route I am using to set something, the YouTube channel name. Here output route I am using to send the what message that is actually it is coming. I'm just want to send it. Okay. So here I have used the both input route and the output route that is required for the message tree, that is required for the message tree. Now let's do the debugging. But before that, if I want to send something to the out one, I have to write here something small code. set, I'm just writing what is coming from the input, just send it to output. That's the thing I am writing here in the subflow. Now let's debug it. Before that, I need to save the bar file. So let's right click in the bar file and just build and save the bar file. Now let's deploy the bar file. Now deployment has been done successfully. Now let's launch the debugger. Now my debugger has been launched successfully. Now let's put the message. I am going to put first message, that is the YouTube one. After that again I am going to send the Udemy one, and then let's see what is happening in the both the cases. I have already launched the debugger. Let me just select the queue name, that is the input queue name, that is the in.local. In.local is the queue for the MQ input, and out one is the queue for out one. Out.local is the for this, and out one.local is for this. Now let's browse the message. First let's select the YouTube message. Let's see the message. The message is like that, tutor name and the platform name. Now let's write the message. I have written the message. Now it is coming to switch to debugger mode. I have just switched to the debugger mode. Let's go inside the queue compute node. If you want to go inside the compute node, just click on to stop into the source. Now we have, if you see here, let me just explain you. Now just see here. This is the message tree, and this is the local environment tree, this is the environment tree, and this is the exception tree. So for the logical tree there is a four tree, that is the uh, for the under logical tree we have the four part, that is the message and message tree, local environment tree, exceptionist environment tree, and exceptionist tree. These all things are uh, create comes under this tree, that output exception list, this will come under this output local environment tree, this will come inside this, and the output root, this come inside the this message. Okay, the main part is the this 1 2 3 4. Okay, now if you see currently in the output root there is nothing, and inside the message we have the, if you see, we have the properties and mqmd, that is the header, and the xmlc, that is the actual payload. Inside the properties you can see there is the message set properties and the priority and the expiration time. These all things are properties of the message that will be written here. Inside the mqmd header part we have the queue name, that is the in.local, and the transaction is true, something encoding is this, and these all thing will be written here, and the user is the Rishutiwari, and these all thing are the written in the mqmd header things. Okay, in the actual payload if you see here is the message and the tutor. What are the message I have sent here? It is the message, and the message, the tutor, and the platform. These all thing will be visible inside the XMLNC, that is the payload part. That message and the tutor is, and this platform is. Now let's go on. Now first I am declaring the inref. So let's, you currently if you see there is no segment for the inref. If I run this code, it inref variable will be created. Under that we are going to store the tutor and the platform name. Okay, now let's, now you can see inref variable has been created. Under inref we have the tutor and the platform. Now you can directly, now we can directly access the tutor using the inref.tutor, and if you, we can also access directly platform using the inref.platform. Okay, now I am accessing directly inref.tutor, it is Risu Tiwari, and currently the inref.platform, that is the YouTube. So this loop will be going to here itself. Okay, now let's go. Now it came to here, now it will run here. Now some exception happened, let's check what is happening. Something exception happened. Failed to locate constant. Let me do like that. Okay, let me do one thing. Terminate debugger, terminate and remove. Set output root. Okay, the problem, what problem is happening? Okay, I am not using the what is the message pattern. The thing I have missing, that is the XMLNS here, because I am not explaining what is the message pattern. Okay, now it should work fine. Okay, set output root. Under output root, I am just setting the what is the message pattern, basically that is the XML, and under that I am just setting the details value. Under details I am setting the YouTube, and YouTube name is the learner pass official. Now let's run this thing. Now let's deploy the message flow. Now deployment has been successfully. Now let's launch the debugger. Again, this time put the same message in the in.local. I've just chosen the same message, that is the tutor name is tutorial and platform is YouTube. Let's write the message. I have written the message. Now let's switch to debugger mode. Now let's go inside the compute node. Again go. This time it came to here, and it will set the value under output root. Under output root, currently there is no XML Now it will create the XML and under that details tab will be created. Under that YouTube will be created. Under that it will value will be going to a store. So let me go. Now you can see, if you see here under output root, we have the properties, and I'm not just forwarding the properties, so it is currently XML is coming. Now under XML we have details. Under details we have the YouTube, and the YouTube name is that learn pass official. Okay, now let's propagate to terminal 0. So let's move forward. Now we have moved forward. You can see debugger has came to here. Now let's, once I go forward, it will go to the MQ output node, and it will just going to write the message to the out.local. So let's move forward. Now it will going to return false. Okay, because it is not going to do anything, so you need to return false. Now let's check the out.local. Now you can see in the out.local under details we have the YouTube name. Under YouTube name is the learn and pass official. The same thing is coming what I am writing the code. In the code I have written, in the output root we have to message format is XML. Under details we have the YouTube, and YouTube name is the learn and pass official. That same thing had came here. Now let's see what is happening if I am sending the platform Udemy message. So let's send the this time the Udemy message. So let's select the in.local. Again let's open the Udemy message. Now I have just selected the Udemy message. The tutor is Usutvari and the platform is the Udemy. Just write the message. I have written the message. Now it will go to the inside the compute node. Let's go inside the compute node. If you see here inside the XML NSC, we have the message tutor name is Rishi Tiwari and the platform is Udemy. So if condition will be applied here, let's me run the if condition will apply here. If you see here the tutor is Rishi Tiwari and the platform is YouTube. So this whole code will be not run here. It will come directly to here. So you can see it will directly come to here, and here it will check the tutor is Usutvari and platform is Udemy. Yeah, it is okay, and it will go to directly here. Now once we run this, if you see in output node there is nothing, but it will, this XML part, this XML part will be copy from this input node input route and it will be moved to the this output route. So let me show you. Now if you see in the output route, now currently have XMLNC message and the tutor, and if you say see same message we present here also. What is coming inside the input route, that is the in the under the XMLNC, this all same thing came to here. Now we are going to propagate to terminal out one. Now if you see here in the out.local, out one.local, okay, okay, the problem happened, I got it. First loop should be end, after it we have to return false it. Okay, the problem happened here. Again let me terminate the debugger. First you need to end the loop, after that we have to do the return false, because after doing this we don't want to do anything, so I am going to use the return false. Okay, but here after this I'm not going to do anything, that's the reason I have done, I have used the return false here, because after that I don't want to do anything, that's the reason I have used the return false. But here in that case, if loop is running, so I need to complete the if loop. After completing the if loop I have to use the return false, so that I don't want to do anything. Okay, so let's again build and save the bar file and just deploy it. Now it is deployed. Let me launch the debugger. Now let me select the message of the Udemy one. I have selected the message at the Udemy one, that is the this one. After that let me write the message. Now I have written the message. It is come to the, let's go inside the compute node. Let's go. It directly came to here. After that it will propagate to the out terminal. Now it has propagated to the out terminal. After it came to return false. Now let's see this time. Out one.local. Again this is not coming. So something wrong is happening. Let me just check it. Mm, something wrong is happening. And propagate to terminal one, out one. Okay, let me go to Subflow. Let me clear this, delete this, and let me just do the out for this. Now let me just do the save, and let me build the var file, and let me deploy this. I have changed this because might be reason that this will this out one will be taking directly this out one, that's maybe creating a region. That's the reason I have just kept this as a in and this as a out. Okay, now let's this time build and save the bar file and see what is happening. Let's me deploy this. Now it has been deployed. Now let's me again launch the debugger. Now let me write the message in the in.local. I am writing the Udemy message. Now let me write this. Now this time it will come here. Now let's go inside the compute node. Now we'll move forward. Now it came to here. Now the message in the output root XML message have been came from the input node. Now let's move forward. Now this time you can see message coming from the using the propagate to terminal out one, it will coming to the here. After that it will go to the here. Let me also add a breakpoint. Using the subflow, it will go to the here. It will just use the subflow and it will go to the here. After that it will be write message to the out mq out dot one. Now you can see it is coming to again checking that is anything left. No, it is not, nothing left. Just use the return false. It will use the return false again. After that, if you check the message in the out one dot local, you can see same message is present here. So this is the all concept of the message tree, that is the input root and the output root. Till now we have just only learnt about the input root and the output root. So this thing I have covered it. Now coming to the local environment tree. If you want to access something from the local environment tree, then you have to use the input local environment, and if you want to access send something in the output local environment tree, then you have to use the output local environment. Now let's take a scenario. Let's take a scenario. I just want to send something here. I just want, instead of sending to this message to the MQ output node, I want to just send message to the two different queue. Then we can do this thing using the output local environment. So output local, you know that in output local environment, what are the sending? It will be available to immediate next node. The immediate next node for this is this. If I send something inside the from the output local environment, it will go to the here itself. But if you send something message, let's example, I am sending some one message. If I u2 message, and if I want to send the message to the this mq output node, that is the out.1, then this flow is fine. But let's take a scenario. Instead of sending to this mq output, I want to send to different queue. That is the des1.q, des2.q. Again, let's take one more queue, des3.q. Destination. I am using des for destination. Des3.q. Okay. I want to send message to three different queue. Des1 dot, des2, des3. Instead of sending message to the out.local, I just want to send the message what is coming from the MQ input node to the des1.q, des2.q, des3.q. Then we can achieve this using the output local environment tree. So what I am going to say do here, I am just going to use the output local environment concept here. There is a syntax. If you anything you are, if you are getting stuck, you just go to the IBM documentation and you can get that command. Okay, so there is syntax. Okay, you can use to if you want to send something in the, it is a predefined syntax. Okay, so this is not nothing new. Let me show you. Okay, okay, okay. So this is a syntax, that is output local environment tree. Under the output local environment, this is the destination. Then in the destination we have the MQ. Under the MQ we have the destination data. And this is the first queue name. This is the and the queue name and the queue name where you want to send the message. Again, for the second queue, that is you have to choose the second and the queue name where you want to send the message. Again for the third, you have to third queue name, and you have to set the message. I want to send the message first into the days days one dot queue. So let's write the days one dot queue, days one dot queue. Again, in the second queue, I want to send the message in the days two dot queue. Again, in the third message, I want to send message in the days three dot queue. Okay, the, this is a simple for I have written here. Okay, if the tutor name is Rishu Tiwari and the platform is YouTube, then send the information to the Q1, Q2, and Q3. And what where how this is achieved? This can be achieved using the this can be achieved using the this is the syntax, that is the output local environment tree, destination and MQ and destination data, and the queue name, first queue name, if you have second queue name and the third queue name, you have to use the first, second, third and the queue name. Okay. Now one important point you need to point here. Again, if you are using the local environment tree in the compute node, then you have to use here as a, if you are not using the local environment tree, then message will be fine in the compute mode. But if you are using the local environment tree, either use the local environment tree. But if you are using the writing some other message, that is the output local, if using the output route and also using the local environment tree, then you have to better to prefer the local environment and message. Either you can use the all means these all thing will cover in this. So you can use all, but I am just writing the local environment tree the message, because I am using the local environment tree and the message tree. I am using the message tree and local environment tree for this compute node, so I am using the this thing. I am not using the exception list, so I am just using the message tree and the local environment, so I have chosen this thing. Okay, that's fine. Now let's save the, so till now this concept I am going to look for the local environment tree. I am just what I'm doing, I'm just using the output local environment, and this is the syntax you have to remember, this output local environment and the destination and this. I'm what I'm doing, if someone is sending this message Rishu Tiwari and YouTube, and if someone is sending this message, then send this message to these three queues. And if apart from this, if someone is sending this message, then simply pass the what message he is sending, they simply pass it to the out one terminal. Now let's this time build and save the par file, and let's see what is happening. Now let's deploy the message. Now let's deploy the message. Now let's launch the debugger. Let's launch the debugger. Now let's write the message of the first YouTube one. Okay, I am just sending the message of the YouTube one, that is the in.local. Okay, now this is the message I'm sending. Let's write the message. Message will come to here. Now let's go inside the compute node. First, I'm declaring the input reference. Okay, now it is coming. I am checking the condition, if the input reference tutor is Rishu Tiwari, yes, and the input reference platform is YouTube, yes. Now let's go inside this. Now it came here. Now first I am going to set in the output. I'm just sending in the output, that is the under XML agency. I'm just sending the detail, and the detail name is learn and pass official. Okay, now I'm just using the, but now this time is going to wrong because I have missed one thing. Let me close the this thing. I have done one wrong thing. Let me just, I currently just recall it. Okay, if you are using the destination mode thing or destination data thing, and if you are using this local environment concept and want to send the message to the different terminals, then you have to different queues, then you have to in the output route we have to use the instead of, if you see here, if you want to simply this, if you want to send something to simply this queue, then queue in the destination mode we have to use the queue name. But if you want to send something into the list of the queues, then you have to use the you have to use the here as a uh, let me show you here as a destination list, because we are sending to lots of destination, we are sending to lots of queue. So instead of queue name we have to select here a destination list. Okay, now let's save this, and again I have to build and save the bar file. These all thing I have to do again because I have missed this thing last time. Now let's me deploy this thing. I have deployed the message flow. Now let me again launch the bar file, launch the debugger, sorry. Now let's write the message again. I'm writing the message YouTube one. Again you can see, let me write the message. It came to debugger mode. Now I've gone through the compute node. Now let's move. You can see output message will become after running this. You can see under detail I'm going to run bascam. Now we are going to run all three destination data, that is the dash 1, dash 2, dash 3. I'm going to send the message to all. The first run, second run, and the third run. After that I'm going to perpet to terminal out 1. Now it came to here. Now it came to return false, and after that I'm going to do nothing, so I'm doing return false. Now let's check the all three queues, that is the dash 1, dash 2, and dash 3, what is coming inside that. In dash 1 if you see, one message came, that is the under detail under YouTube, that is the learn and pass official. That's what I am sending. I am sending under the output route under detail under out YouTube, under I'm just the YouTube name I'm writing it. Okay, so, and you can see same message in the this queue dash 1 dot queue. Again let's select the second queue, see what is coming. See, same thing is coming in second queue. Again let's see the third queue, same message is coming into third queue also. Okay, you can see in all three queues one message came. If you see from here itself also, dash 1 one message, dash 2 one message, dash 3 one message. In all three queue one message came, and the all message are same what I'm just setting inside the computer node. Okay, now this is all about the local environment tree. I have used the concept of the output local environment to send the message to the different queues as per the different destination. Now let me terminate debugger. And similarly, if you want to access something from the local environment tree, then you have to use the input local environment. Then you can use the same thing. You can just if something is present inside the local environment tree, just you can access using the like that. Let's say example, I want to access something from local environment. I will use the set output root dot xml dot data under that input local environment tree dot this, under that what are the value we are going to access, that I can access it. Okay, that's simple thing. Now coming to the environment. Okay, let's take a scenario. This is the thing I have taken for the local environment. Let's take this for the environment tree. Okay, I want to send something in the into environment, and later I'm going to use that thing into the for the other purpose. I'm just setting something value inside the environment tree. After that later I can use that value for the different purpose. Okay, so let's use the set environment. Okay, just cross it. Set environment. There set environment. Under environment I'm just setting the Udemy. Under the Udemy, I'm just writing the details. Okay, under it, I'm just leave it detail. I'm just writing the tutor origin, and leave as a country as a India. Now set again other values. Let's set informant. Under environment, let's set Udemy. Under Udemy, set tutor lecture count. Total how many lecture is present in the Udemy is 4. Now set again other value inside the set environment. Under environment, let's set under Udemy. Under Udemy, let's set the uh, what value I can set here. Tutors uh, channel tutor tutor YouTube channel result learn and pass official. So I have just setted three value, that is the under environment we have created the tree, that is Udemy. Under Udemy I just created tree tutor origin. I'm just from the India, so I have just writing the tutor origin as India. And under Udemy I'm just also creating a tag, that is the tutor lecture count, how much lecture that I have uploaded in Udemy, that I have uploaded four lecture. So I am writing here the 4. Under the environment I'm just under Udemy I have the tag, that is a Udemy channel, YouTube channel, that I have also YouTube channel, that is the whose name is learn and pass official. Okay, if you are new then you can just go through and you can subscribe it. Okay, now let's see what are the thing. This environment variable you can use later in the message flow, in the subflow we can use that. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, and here what I'm doing, what are the coming inside from the input root XML I'm just sending it to output root XML. Okay, now let's let's do one thing in the message flow. Here in the subflow, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do nothing. Okay, because lecture is already going big. I'm trying to summarize the things. Okay, now deployment have been done successfully. Now let's launch the debugger. Okay, now let's go inside the subflow. In the subflow, let me add the breakpoint. Okay, now let me go. Let me write the message. Let me select the in.local. Let me select the Udemy message. I have selected this message. Now let me write the message. Now debugger has been launched. Let me go inside the compute node. Now I'm just declaring the inref as an input reference. It will check here as a tutor name is very fine and the platform is YouTube, so it will not go here, it will directly come to here itself. So let me, okay, you can see directly it came to here itself. After that, Currently you can see in output root there is nothing. After that whatever coming in whatever present here, it will come to here itself. Okay, because I am what are whatever present in the input root, I am just setting into output root. You can see it will come here itself, a another message and the tutor and the platform name. Okay, now if you see here in the environment tree, there currently there is nothing. There is under the environment there is nothing. Now I am going to set under environment under Udemy, under this I am going to set these values in the different cases. Okay, now let's run the. Okay, you can see the first line has been run, and after I am just setting the tutor origin as a India. So if you see here under the environment, under that Udemy, under Udemy as a tutor origin as India, I have set it. Now like total tutor lecture count I am going to set as a 4. So let me run this. Now if you see under the environment, under the Udemy and the tutor lecture count as a 4, I have set it here. Okay, now let me run this. Now if you see again, under the Udemy, under the tutor YouTube channel is a learn and pass official that I have written here. Okay, now after that I am going to propagate to the out one, that is the this thing, this. Now let me run this. Now it came to here. Again you can see environment thing is already, it's still present here. Environment thing is already still present here. Again let me go here. I just move to the subflow. Yeah, I'm in the subflow, but still the environment thing is present here. Okay, again let me move. Again here I am here, but still environment tree is present here. The benefit is that if I want to write something code here in this compute node of the subflow, and we can use directly the environment thing from the here itself, because environment, whatever the value we are setting in the environment tree, it will present throughout the message flow. So we can access, we can set some variable, we can save some data from the database, we can set some information that is required throughout the message flow, and from the environment tree we can access these things, and we can write some ESQL code, and we can use the data present inside the environment tree. Okay, currently I'm not writing because lecture is going so long, so I'm not writing some data, but you can write some here data, and you can access data from the environment, and we can access data from the environment, and we can again send value. Okay, now let's move forward. Again I came to here. I still you can see value is present inside the environment tree. Okay, now just send it. It came here, and you can see, if you see here the out one dot local, you will get the data. Out one dot local, you will get the this data. Okay, but similarly, just I'm recommended to you, if you want to write something in the subflow, you can write here that like that the state, some you can set some value inside the, you can access some value from the environment. Okay, let me write something line for you. Okay, but I was not supposed to write, but let me write for you. Okay, okay, let me set output root. Okay, set output root dot xml nsc, is equal to, under that I am writing the details. Under details I am writing the tutor detail. Tutor, I'm just writing the tutor detail. Okay, the what is the tutor represent? The tutor detail is present under environment. Under environment we have the, if you see here under environment we have the Udemy, under the Udemy we have the this thing. Let me copy from here itself. Under Udemy we have the tutor origin as India. Okay, under environment we have the this thing. Okay, so what is present inside the tutor origin, I am just setting in the tutor value. Okay, similarly tutor this place. Okay, now similarly in the same thing I can write few lines more in the here in the tutor count. tutor CTU lecture count, and under this I can use lecture count. Similarly, I can use one more line in output or done XLC under detail under the tutor lecture count under I'm using the YouTube channel as a tutor tutor YouTube as the environment under tutor under the this I'm going to use the tutor YouTube channel in the here itself. Okay, so what I am doing here, if you think like that, I am just setting some value in the output root. Under output root message format is XML, so I am using the XML XNSE, and under details I am setting details is the parent tag. Under details we have the child data tutor place, tutor lecture count, and the tutor YouTube. I am just setting in the tutor place. I am setting value from the under environment under Udemy under the tutor origin that I have setted here. Again under the tutor lecture count, again I am taking value from the environment. I am accessing value from the environment. Again from the tutor YouTube that I am accessing value from the its environment itself, and I am sending the value. Now let's see what is happening this time. Okay, now let's save the value, save the and let's build and save the bar file. Now let's deploy the message flow. Now deployment has been done successfully. Let's debugger, launch the debugger. Now this time let's put the message. Now let me clear this. Now let me choose the Udemy message. Let me write here. Let me switch the in debugging mode. Let me go inside the compute node. As you can see, if I run this, declare the inref, tutor is Jisutiwari and platform is Udemy, so it will directly go to here itself. Now you can see it go to here. Now I am just setting value inside the environment. Let's set in value inside the environment. I have set in the value inside the environment. If you see under the environment, we have the Udemy. Under Udemy, we have the tutor origin as a India, tutor lecture as a 4, and the count as a tutor YouTube channel as a learn pass official. And this thing I am going to use in the subflow. Okay, currently if you see in the uh, output root, we have the value as a this thing XMLNSC and the tutor and the platform, this thing are present. Now let's see what is happening in the next. Okay, now let's go inside the out. Okay, I have just came inside the compute node. Let's go inside the subflow compute node. I have just gone through the subflow compute node. Okay, here I am setting some value inside the output root. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, I have just, if you see in the output root in the exponency under details under tutor place as a India I have set in here. In the output root under the details under the tutor place I am setting value as a India, and from where I am taking this is I am taking from the here under environment under Udemy under tutor origin I am taking this value as India, I am setting in the output root. Okay, similarly let's move forward. Okay, again in the details I am just taking value as a tutor lecture count, and this thing again I am taking from the environment tree under environment under Udemy under this total lecture count, that is 4 I am taking from the here itself. Now let's me run this thing again. If you see here under the XMLNSC the details under, okay, this is something coming wrong. Okay, something a spelling mistake has been done here. Okay, so ignore this line. Okay, now let's move forward. See what is coming this time in the out1.local. This time in the out.local, tutor place as a India and the tutor lecture count as a 4. Why the tutor channel name has not came? I am the tutor and my channel name is not coming. Why it is not coming? Let's see. Tutor channel name, and here is a, let's go inside this tutor channel name under Udemy and the tutor channel name. Done. Environment, under environment tutor channel name I am taking from here. I am setting inside the detail under tutor YouTube. Okay, let's see what is happening this time. Okay, now let me build and save the var file, and let me deploy this. Now let me send the message. This time I'm not launching the debugger mode. I'm just sending message to see it is coming properly or not. Okay, let me write the message. I've just written the message. Now let's see out.1.local. Now this time you can see the tutor place, tutor lecture count is 4, and the tutor YouTube is the learn pass official. And this time, because this time something a spelling mistake happened, this is the reason you can that mistake was happening. So we have learned about the message tree, input route and the output route. We have learned about the input local environment tree and the output local environment, and we have seen how we are sending to different location into different queue using the output local environment tree. Okay. Earlier we have seen the environment tree. We can see how we are setting some value inside the environment tree, and later we are using that value using the environment tree itself. So we have seen the how we can see use the value inside, say, which is present inside the environment tree, and how we can set the value inside the environment tree. And the last is the exception list tree. Okay, if you are taking out the exception list tree, this is itself is a big topic, but let me again brief you. Okay, if you're talking about the exception list tree is the tree which automatically populates in case of some exception happen. Okay, so for that we create a different subflow and use that for the exception list tree. But we used to create the exception subflow, and we use it for the in case of some issue happen, we use the that subflow for the exception generation. In case, let's example, there is someone is sending message. Currently the message format that is the MQ input node is accepting is the XML NSC, because I have set here as a XML NSC in the MQ input parsing, that is XML NSC. Okay, but let's example someone is sending some message that is not XML, then what will happen? The message will be fail itself. Okay, let's take another example. I am writing some code that is wrong. Okay, then what will happen? It will message will be some issue will happen, and it will go to the failure node. Okay, but here you can see there is no some exception handling is defined. What will happen if in case of some exception handling is not defined? Okay, then in case of some unhandled exception, the message will be go to the first backout queue if the backout queue is defined for the MQ input node. And in case of backout queue is not defined for the MQ input node, then it will go to the dead letter queue of the that queue measure of the MQ input node queue. In case of exception handle is defined, it will go to the queue that is for the exception handling. But what if in case of neither a dead queue is present and nor a backout queue is present? In case of neither dead queue is present nor a uh, backout queue is present, then in that case message flow will continuously try to the find the queue where we can it can put the message, and it will try for continuously for the place where it can put a message. But that case is not that queue is not present. In that case it may be a situation where it will be unwanted behavior of the queue manager, and you will see the some unwanted behavior with the queue manager. That's reason it is always prefers to be a deleter queue. In case of some unhandled exception, message will go to the deleter queue, and if the backout queue is present for the MQ input queue, then it will go to the backout queue of that queue. Okay, but it is best to prefer as a exception handling, because in case of some exception happen, it will go to the that key, that place. Okay, so what, how we can do the exception handling? We can do the exception handling using the failure node and the catch node. So what is difference between the failure node and the catch node? If something issue happen with the MQ input node itself, then message will go to the failure node. If let's example someone is sending wrong message, something configuration of the MQ input node is wrong, the if message did itself in the MQ input node, it will go to the failure node. If the message passes successfully from the MQ input node, it will go successfully to the compute node. In case of compute node, some issue happen, some code issue happen, something happen, then it will go back to the MQ input node and it will try to search nearest cache node. Let's example, if something issue happen with that node, then it will try to search nearest cache node present for and then whatever the nearest cache node will present, it will go here, and after that it will go to the exception tree. Okay, okay, and it generates automatically. Okay, because this tree is, generates automatically. So let's take a scenario. Currently there is no exception is handled, and let's scenario what is happening. Currently we have defined a dead letter queue, that is the dead letter queue. Currently there is no backout queue. We have defined one dead letter queue, and let me clear the message of the dead letter queue. Okay, 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 okay. Somehow I have deleted the message. I have somehow deleted the queue. Let me copy the queue name. Okay, from the properties, QM1 DLQ. I think I have deleted the queue. Okay, let me create the queue. Okay, so this is the dead letter queue that I have defined in the properties of the queue manager. In the properties of the queue manager, I have defined the dead letter queue name. Okay, and this is the queue manager, that is where the input queue is, that is the queue in dot local is present. That the in dot local is present input queue. Okay. The currently this is the unhandled exception, and in that case if something unwanted happen, something exception happen, message will directly go to the deleter queue. So let's see the situation. Okay, this time I am sending the message which is not a XML format. I'm just modifying that message. Okay, for the YouTube one, and let's see what is happening this time. Okay, okay, before that it is always prefer to choose as a, in validation we have to choose as a content and value, and the failure as a exception list. Okay, in advance it is okay. In advance it is okay. In parsing option is just select as a complete. Okay, these two things basically we need to select. In parsing timing you have to select as a complete, and in the advance you have to select as a, in validation you have to select as a content and value, and the validation exception list. Okay, now let's save the this, because what is this thing, if you are thinking, I want to validate the content and value what are the present, and I want to do the in case of something issue happen, I want to do the exception list is, I want to generate it. And apart from that, if you are thinking about this, that is the uh, here, and it is okay. In the advance where it was, mm, parsing advance. Okay, okay. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, In parsing option, why I'm selecting complete, there is thing that is on demand complete and uh, that is immediate. The immediate and complete both are nearly equal, and on demand is something different from that. In on demand you will not going to get the complete DRL detail, but in if you are selecting the complete, then you will get the exception, all the exception and all the detail. The all validation will be happening if you selecting the complete. Later we will going to a deep study about the what is on demand, what is immediate, what is complete. These all things we are going to do in deep and speaking about that, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, now this time let's do the debugging. Okay, before that let's build and save the bar file. Now let me deploy it. Let me save this message, because this message is not XML message. I have just modified the message, the YouTube one, and I'm going to write the message, see what is happening. Okay, just select the in.local, just select the message, that is the YouTube one, and if you see the message is not in the XML format, that's the reason it is giving like that. Message is not. Let's write the message. I have written the message. If you see, some exception had happened and it will go on to deleter queue. You can see there is one message in deleter queue, and you will get the that message in there. Currently there is no exception is handled, so you are going to get the message in the exception queue itself. Okay, then what is the error happening, you will get in the debugger mode. Let me show you. Let me this time launch the debugger. Okay, again let me put the message. Again this same message, let me write it. Okay, debugger is launch. Mm, okay, okay, okay. The message is wrong is happening itself here, so that's the reason it is directly going to deleter queue, and no exception list is going to generate. Okay, so all messages are currently going to deleter queue. You see here, all messages are going to deleter queue. Okay, in case of some exception will happen, message will directly go to the deleter queue, or if in case of in case of some backout queue is defined, then it will go to the backout queue. Okay, if you're not, if you don't know what is dead letter queue, what is backout queue, then you have to go to my MQ series, you will get the details here there. Okay, now then how we can define the exception tree, and how we can create the exception tree, how we can do the exception handling. Okay, we can do exception handling using the subflow, but I'm not going to do the subflow. I'm just going to create a simple flow. Okay, where I'm going to use the compute node and the one output node. Okay, so let's use the one compute node. Let's use the one compute node here. Okay, and one output node. Okay, now let's connect the failure node from here itself. Now let's connect the catch node from here itself. Now let's connect the out terminal from here itself. Now let's rename it. Okay, here write the queue name as here write the excepp exception queue. Okay, now let's write the here queue name. Before that, let me create the queue name as exception queue. New local queue name as exq dot local. I'm creating an exception queue name whose name is exq dot local. Just click on finish. Okay, let's use the queue name here itself. in the properties in the basic. Now that is done. But before that, I need to write some exception handling code into the compute node. Then what we can write here? Let's see here. Let's clear the default code and let's clear this thing also. Okay. Already explained you, if you want to access something from the exception tree, then you have to use the input exception list, and if you want to send something into exception list, then you have to use the output exception list. Okay, but this time exception list tree is already is generated by default, and we are accessing something from the input exception list. So you are using the we want to access something from the exception list, so you are going to use the input exception list. Okay, so let's write like that: set output, set, okay, set output root dot dot xml nsc dot exception dot details. Under detail, let's use the input exception list. Input exception list. That's all done. What I am doing, I am just creating a output root. Under output root, I am just creating a tag as a exception. Under exception, it is the detail tag I am creating, and what is present inside the exception list, I am just sending value to the this thing. Okay, that's the thing I am doing. That is a simple thing. It's done. Okay, now let's build and save the var file, and let's see what is happening this time. Okay, now let's deploy the message flow. Now message flow is deployed successfully. Now let's launch the debugger. Now my debugger will launch successfully. Now let's put the message of the YouTube one. Now let's put the message in the in.local in the YouTube one, which is the something not a correct message. It is the not XML message. Let me write it. Before that, let me write here the add here the breakpoint. Let me add here the breakpoint. Also here the breakpoint. Okay. Now debugger is already launched. Let me write the message. YouTube one, that is this, right. I have written a message. Now I have launched into debugger. You can see it is going to the failure node. Why it is going to failure node? Because my message it's not a correct. My message is wrong. And if you are sending something wrong message or something issue with the MQ input node, it will go to the failure node. But in case of something issue with the code, then it will go to the catch node. Okay. Now if you see here, there is a message tree, that is a local environment tree, and exception list tree, that is automatically generated. Exception list by default generated. If I let's copy it, this message, and paste into the notepad. Okay, okay, you will get the error details here itself. The anything error happen, you will get the detail, exception detail into the exception list tree, and whole error detail will be present here. So what we are going to do in this code, I am going to set what is the error present in using the input exception list is used to access the exception list. So what is the present inside the exception list, we are going to access using the input exception list, and I am going to set all the value what is present into exception list into the details tag. Okay, then let's select the thing. Okay, then I am going to if you are you can see the error from here itself. You can see that it is written the validation is enabled and no application message model is found. Okay, that's reason it is coming error validation, because I have enabled a validation and something like that, and that's the reason it is coming error. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, now if I move forward, okay, it will directly came to here, and after that it will go to the exception queue, and this is the exception queue where it will going to do. Let's browse the exception queue, and let's browse this queue. Again we are going to see the value. Okay, this is the value. This is a different error. This is not error coming because of the XML message. This is coming because of validation, that is I have enabled. I have enabled the validation, but I have not selected the message model into the this. Let me show you. In the properties, if you are enabling the validation, then in the message model thing, you have to select the, in the message model you have to browse and select the what the validation you want to do. Okay, let me again change the this thing, uh, none, and let's see what is happening this time. Again let's do build and set the bar file. Again let's see, deploy this. Okay, now let's launch the debugger. Already launched. Let me write the message. This thing, let me clear it. Now let's go inside the in dot local. Let me browse the message that you two want. Let me write it. Now debugger has been launched. Let me go inside that. Now exception has been generated already. Now let's move forward. Now it, after the compute node, it came to here, and I'm going to send into exception queue. This is the queue. Okay. Now let's see what is happening here in the exception queue. What came here in the exception.local? One message came. Now this time you can see that it is correct error giving the int tag of the message, that is the message का int tag जो है must be this should be the int tag that I have missed here. But earlier the message were like that. Earlier the message was like that, but I have just removed this thing. That's the reason it is giving error that the int tag should be like that. Okay, that I have missed. This is the error you can get. But if you are, there is something error happen with the code, then if something error happen with the code, then we are going to not again to get the exception in the failure node. You are going to in the catch node. Okay, that thing we can see in the later sections. That's not a big issue. Okay, so this is all about the whole logical tree, and this lecture will be the too much long, but this will be very much helpful uh, from the understanding point of view. Okay, if you have gone through the lecture very carefully, you are going to learn the lot of things. You are going to learn the lot of going to get the lot of information. Okay, so we have covered the everything. We have covered the what is the logical tree. Okay, in the logical tree we have the message tree, and we have the local environment tree, we have environment tree, and we have externalist tree. Okay, we have seen the what is the input root and output root in the message tree, and we have seen the what is the input local environment and output local environment tree, and we have seen the environment tree by accessing and setting the value, and we have also seen the exception list tree, how it is getting generated, and what is the failure and node failure terminal and the catch terminal, everything in detail. Okay, so hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Again, if you have any doubt, again any question, again anything, you can drop me a mail at the learn and pass official. Again, I'm happy to reply you as soon as I get a time, and you will get the lecture daily, and you are going to get lecture continuously. So you don't need to worry about it, because it takes a time to prepare all things and make the lecture. Okay. So if you are getting lecture in the 3 to 4 days, so don't need to panic about that. You will get the continuously. Thank you all. Thank you. We will meet again in the next lecture. Thank you. Thank you all.